Hello folks. So today we're going to talk a little bit about operant conditioning and what some of those terms mean. So operant conditioning itself is learning through consequence, so positive and negative consequences. Operant conditioning comes up a lot in day-to-day life, social media, TV and things like that when people talk about giving positive reinforcement for something. Someone does something you like, you give them a reward. So like when your dog comes in, you give them a treat. That's called positive reinforcement. Well, what does the words positive and reinforcement mean? So looking at this chart here, so we have positive and negative. These are just looking at the stimulus itself. So in the dog example, the stimulus would be the giving of the treat, so the treat itself. So it's a positive thing because they're adding the stimulus. You're giving the dog the treat. You're adding that stimulus. A negative example was if the dog was going to get the treat and you took it away due to a behavior. So maybe something negative gets taken away. So the stimulus itself is where the positive and negative aspects come in. Looking at reinforcement and punishment, however, reinforcement is done when the behavior is wanted to increase. So the behavior of that dog coming in, when you call it, you want that behavior to increase. You add a positive stimulus, so you add the dog treat, rewarding this behavior. So the added stimulus leads to increased behavior. Let's say you're wanting to punish, so you're wanting to decrease a behavior. Maybe you don't want the dog to run off into another person's yard. So every time they do that, you add maybe a negative stimulus. So you'll add, I hate to use the example of a shock collar, but that's something that's been used in the past, or maybe they just get yelled at, so they don't like that. So it's adding a negative stimulus. So it's positive because it's still adding something, but it's punishment because it's decreasing the behavior. So this is just kind of a brief overview of what is operant conditioning and some of those terms. So the biggest takeaways are to positive and negative. So the first part of positive punishment, negative punishment, something like that, positive reinforcement, is adding the stimulus or just subtracting the stimulus. So just focusing on that stimulus versus reinforcement punishment deal directly with the behaviors, either increasing or decreasing. So this is just a short overview. I hope that you learned a little bit of something today. Thank you.